everyone ready? Okay. Calling to order the Clearwater Library Advisory Board for May the 4th, 2023. Yes, May the 4th be with you.
Having a program this evening.
Welcome, everyone. Yes, the old Star Wars reference. All right. First of all, the minutes of the meeting of February 2nd. They have been submitted. And, okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second? Second. Very good. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Minutes are adopted. Okay. Citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda. I see no one present, so we will move on. Old business items, North Greenwood and Main Library hours status. Jennifer Overmeyer, would you please update us?
Thank you. On April 11th, we changed our hours, so North Greenwood finally has Saturday hours, 10 to 5. We didn't get approved for extra FTEs for that change, so Main Library is closed right now on Sundays.
Okay.
Sundays is one of our slower days.
Okay.
And we're going to see how this goes. Of course, when the park opens, there's going to be increased activity and everything. So we're going to see how this goes as far as, Main closing, and then perhaps I can...
Okay, so you're saying we have the flexibility to alter that because obviously there's going to be a major influx of people in this area.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I would have to request from city management for extra FTEs, extra staff.
Okay, good.
And that closing the main library on Sundays was really the only option as far as paring back staff hours?
It was the best option.
Based on the fact that Sundays are...
Because we looked at door counts and everything. Sure. Countryside Libraries is pretty busy on Sundays.
Oh, are they open on Sundays?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I should know that. I thought the main library was the open one.
No.
So at least there's one.
Exactly.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. No, that's perfect.
Very
yes.
good.
So, and from what I hear, Saturdays are starting to pick up at North Greenwood, and it's going to take a little bit for the word to get out, but they're picking up, and people are coming in, and it's just great for the children and families to have the library.
Yes, I've heard there's more activity in the area and more options for people, which is very good.
Especially with the new CRA coming on board. So finally. So.
What are the hours? What are the Saturday hours there?
10 to 5.
10 to 5. Okay, good. Very good.
Okay. Moving on to 4.2, staff vacancy status.
Staff vacancies. We currently have 8 positions vacant. All but one are part-time, and that has been our challenge, is filling part-time positions. So we just keep plugging along and trying to fill. Sometimes, we hire, but, they don't stay very long, or it's very hard. People are mostly looking for full-time.
And for anyone out there who's interested, they apply through either the city or library website?
There is a link on the library's website.
A link on the library's website,
They can also go to myclearwater.com.
Okay.
And there's a tab for employment.
Okay. Yes, Tim?
Are you reaching out to any of the colleges or?
There are a lot of job boards out there, both library and non-library, and we are really doing our best to post our vacancies.
Do we get it out on social media at all, like on the library's Facebook page and so on? Okay.
I get City of Clearwater notifications on social media.
Yeah.
The library positions are always listed in addition to the other city positions.
Correct.
Just a question, are these part-time positions the hours still during the day, or is it something that someone could do as like a second job? Because it's kind of a,
It varies, I mean, it
Okay.
depends what their other
so there
job
might be
is.
some weekend and evening.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Well, that's good to know. I'll let people know.
Please do, please do. And this isn't just a Clearwater challenge, it's really a challenge for all libraries, especially in the Tampa Bay area. Even filling full-time, it's been a challenge, so, but most of ours are part-time.
Now, are these positions where a degree is required or high school diploma?
For paraprofessionals, they do not need a degree.
Okay,
For librarians, part-time librarians, they just have to be enrolled in library school.
okay, very good. All right, any other questions? Okay, so let's get the word out, let's get those positions filled.
Thank you.
And library renovation status, we're all wanting to know what's happening there.
Well, it's moving a little slowly. There's a lot of moving parts. Penny Lane, I don't know if I reported out last meeting. Penny Lane is a Beatles museum currently in downtown Dunedin. And they are interested in moving into our main library and expanding their current museum, because I think it's pretty small in Dunedin. So we met with them, and we're still in negotiations with a legal agreement. So I don't really have a lot to report regarding that, the status of that. It's just we're in negotiations. So hopefully by next meeting, we'll know more. And the council still supports adding a cafe into the library.
Okay, my understanding with the Penny Lane issue is that parking is part of what's...
Parking is,
Because they are requiring so many spaces, and as we know, I've beat the drum many times for this, but I'm trying to maintain and expand main library parking. To me, with the entire waterfront project, that is issue number one. And frankly, I don't know about any of you, but I've yet to see it fully addressed. So I'm not sure how that's going to happen. I, for one, am a major Beatles fan, would love to see Penny Lane come into this building. I think that would be such a get and such a wonderful attraction for visitors to Clearwater Beach, along with the new center on the waterfront. I truly would love to see that. So I hope that the powers that be who are deciding about issues such as where is the parking going to be and how much of it will be dedicated to our library will pay heed that this is not a small issue. This is major in terms of the future of this library, because we know there has still been the hint of the issue about turning it into the city hall. And that is something I, for one, would not be a fan of at all. And I hope that the city will go with its plan to put City Hall elsewhere, but keep this marvelous facility and add the Penny Lane Museum. So, but that's just my personal perspective. Any other comments? Tim?
I've been on this board meeting now for 2 years and have been trying to get any hint of any architectural plans. And you said you were just going to move furniture around. I know I missed a meeting, the last meeting, but, and then we have the battle of Mayor Hibbert at the time really trying to get the upper couple floors. Is there an architect or consultant hired by the city in regard, or is there a city architect? I don't know. I know they have plenty of, like me, landscape architects, but what is the status of a consultant being involved in the library renovations?
so about,
I'm going to call them renovations.
yes. So about 4 or 5 months ago, we retained Harbor Jolly. They are an architect on record for the city.
Who are they?
Harbor Jolly,
Yeah.
they're architects. architectural
no.
firm.
Where are they from?
I think they are locally, I
Yeah.
think they're in Clearwater, maybe? Yeah,
If not the
yeah,
headquarters, there's opposites.
yeah.
How do you spell the name of that firm?
Harvard, like the college,
Oh.
and then Jolley.
Oh, okay.
They designed our North Greenwood.
St. Pete, they're based in St. Pete.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, off of 4th Street or something. Yeah. They built our North Greenwood library, and then they worked in tandem with Robert Stern for this library.
Well,
And they built our countryside library. Designed.
what is the status of the
So,
number 2 floor?
I just reached out to our city engineer last week, and they had anticipated getting preliminary drawings at the end of April. So she reached out to them, and she said she will be submitting those very shortly to me and city management.
Have any drawings been done over the past couple of years? Were there other consultants or?
We hired a furniture consultant. Actually, we didn't hire, we brought him on board, we didn't pay him. He did it for no cost, to just kind of get us thinking what we want to see in the renovation. Now, this is before Penny Lane and a cafe and everything. So he kind of worked through us to kind of realize how we wanted to change our service model. And then we have not heard from him. It was kind of during COVID, but we've reached out to him many times, and so I don't know what happened. So that's why the city retained Harvard Jolly.
Well, I'm glad you've got a consultant on board.
Yes.
I think the renovations should be major as you can get them. I mean, obviously, the grand space is in the back of the building in terms of that atrium space, on the north side of the building, not the back. But many of the libraries I've been in, when you come into the library, it's a grand scheme. And here it's nice, but it's certainly not what I would call grand. And I'm not looking for turning the front into an atrium and, balconies and, an exhibit type thing at all. But certainly most of the libraries I've been in have been children-oriented towards the front. With all their activities set up there. Ours are up on the upper floors.
They have a dedicated floor, correct?
What's that?
They have a dedicated floor on the second floor, children's
Right,
team room.
right. And there's a lot of empty shelving space on the north side here on the first floor. So instead of having empty shelving space, why not use some of that space, move the books? I would like to be involved in meeting with your architect and just listen and see what they're saying. Is there any way I can do that?
Well, our plan is to relocate, and that's why you see so many shelves, because years ago, we shut down for 6 weeks for the renovation. And then the city council decided to not do the renovation at that time. So that's why you see a lot of empty shelves. But our original plan was to move the majority of the first floor up into the third floor and make the first floor more active space,
Great,
programming
yeah.
space.
Yeah.
So to your point, make that first, that when you walk in, that wow factor. A lot of co-working, seating, spaces. And of course, we'd have, you grab and go. You have a book on hold, you come in, grab, and, then we were going to bring some computers down, and just so people don't have to go all the way to the third floor to get, something really quickly. But since then, we had this Penny Lane proposal and the cafe. So right now, and, things can change, it looks like the first floor is going to be primarily the Penny Lane, if that gets approved, and the cafe, if that moves forward. But everything will move up to the third floor, except like the circ desk, the circulation desk, and we'll probably have the self-checkouts.
Would the Penny Lane, in your negotiations, is that a lease agreement? Are they going to lease space from?
Correct.
Hmm.
And again, we're just in preliminary negotiations.
No, I understand, yeah. Well, getting back to my...
And of course, it needs council approval. So any agreement needs council approval.
Well, and to that point, would the preliminary renovation drawings be presented first at a city council meeting for approval? Or, because Tim was asking if he could be involved in some way in seeing those plans, what would be the process for those plans being examined and ultimately adopted?
Well, the plans will definitely have to go to city council. Any change will have to go to city council for review, discussion, and approval or
And where will they go prior to that?
city staff, me and city management.
Okay. I'm just wondering, where would there be an opportunity for
Yeah.
Tim to take a look at those?
Well, there will be public record, so you can,
Okay.
Yeah, I know, we've been through that one before. What about being able to participate or at least observe, meeting with your architect and whomever from your staff and whomever else from the city is involved in this? How could I, sit and observe
well, I
and
can
try to be
investigate
quiet?
to see if we can maybe create a focus group opportunity with all our stakeholders. I can investigate whether that's a possibility.
Please do. Yes, I think that would be important.
Well, with the plans coming out in April, that would be April of next year.
Oh, no, we already passed, so we should be getting them anytime now. So, and these are
Well,
preliminary.
thank you for the invitation.
No, these are preliminary drawings, so it's not the final and,
Well, that's what I've been through the design process
Yeah.
my entire life, so that's what I did professionally, so
Yeah.
that's where I want to be involved. I don't want to open them up and say, oh, what have we got here?
and a lot of it revolved around, what Penny Lane was asking for. And then, of course, designing a cafe and what does that look like and who's going to operate it. These are all unknowns. So,
How many square feet are they talking about leasing?
about 5,500.
How many feet are on each floor here in this building? The floor?
It varies by the floor, like the fourth floor is in the full floor.
Well, the first and second floor, how many?
Maybe around 20, 25.
25,000 square feet?
And that includes back of house and,
Certainly,
Yeah.
yeah, right. So really talking about taking a quarter of the first floor.
pretty much, yes. And that's just Penny Lane, and then the cafe, which I don't know how many square feet they're planning for that. So, and that really depends on, also too, on who would want to operate that cafe.
Exactly. Well, again, how do I get involved?
Well, let me ask the question of city management, if we could have like a focus group and input session with our stakeholders and see if that's a possibility. But we still need all the information first, so I can get back to you.
So will you let Timothy know and the
I'll
rest
let
of the
everyone know.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Yes. 'Cause
Great.
I'm sure we,
We're all invited.
as as it should be, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Any other questions or observations on the renovation status? All
I
right,
did request, we met with special events about a month and a half ago, and we'll talk about this under Director's Report, the grand opening of Cochin Park. But I did talk with Chris Cook, and regarding the parking issue, when they have events, previously, when they had events, they would have parking attendants that would secure our parking for library patrons only. So I did request that they do that when we're open and there are events.
Oh, good.
Scheduled events. So hopefully that will continue.
yes, it is vital.
Parking is a challenge. And we still operate chambers here, so there's a lot of city meetings and council meetings.
I know, for pulling in at 10 o'clock, when the library opens at 10, it's already filling the overflow parking and then some. So it's not a minor concern. It's got to be addressed.
Yeah. And then another challenge, when the hotel starts construction, that's going to have a minor impact on our existing parking.
Remind me where the hotel will be.
I'm sorry?
Remind me where the hotel will be.
Pretty much right out of the front doors.
Oh.
And what, the old Harborview?
Oh, okay, it's gonna be hotel, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So. But they're incorporating 50 city spots in their underground parking garage. So,
Do we know which hotel is they're building?
I'm sorry?
Which hotel they're building there? Do we know?
I know it's a music-themed hotel. It's part of,
Music themed?
yeah, it's, D'Annunzio is the group that's designing it. So there'll be hotel where Harborview is, and then the old city hall will be apartment buildings.
So it's not like a Hilton or a Marriott
Yeah.
or
I don't know.
nothing like
It's
that.
an independent.
Or
It's
like
like a
a
boutique
boutique.
hotel.
Boutique.
Mhm.
That's
Yes. Well, and we know that there are major changes underway for the rest of the development in terms of going from 2 towers of low-cost house, or just housing period, to only 1 tower of 400. So there is so much up in the air right now. And again, I think in terms of people come to the library, and of course they expect to park for free. And I keep thinking that the people using the boutique hotel and the park and all the rest of these wonderful new facilities are going to say, oh, but if I park over at the library, I can park for free. I just have nightmares about what that's going to mean to library participation and attendance. So sorry, I hear,
And we have
Some-
had challenges in the past with events, because a lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm going to library, and then they get out of their car and walk down to the pickup.
yes,
Yeah, we do our best. Unless I was thinking maybe like a validation, something like that.
Okay.
That's what we do at the beach library. We
Yes.
managed to get some dedicated parking, but you have to park, go in the library or the rec center.
and they do monitor that lot.
Yeah,
And
they do.
obviously, that's the kind of thing we're going to have here. Because it's all about the parking. The ability of this entire development to succeed depends on how the parking is handled. I truly believe it's that hard and that easy and that critical. Okay.
So,
All right. Well, let us move on now to the Director's Report 5.1, Spring Programs.
yes,
What's happening?
we're always active, but this spring we were really active. So February was Black History Month, and we had our 6th annual night at the library. Again, a huge success. We partnered with the Historical Society and NAACP, the Remembrance Committee. I was there, and it was a packed house.
Oh, wonderful.
It was wonderful. And I hope we don't outgrow that space, because every inch of that library was full. So it was just great, a great celebration. And then in the beginning of April, we had what they called Grand Rising. Kind of like surrounded around the burial, the cemeteries, but it was artists of various types showcasing their art and performance and whatnot, and that had, it was over 100 people that attended
good.
that. So it seems like our big events in North Greenwood, people really respond. The community really comes out and supports, and we have great partners that really are engaged and involved and love our library over there. So. Of course, we had our annual Comic-Con that
Yes.
brought in, I think we had over 1,000 people maybe, I don't know. And that was at Ross Norton again this year.
It
They
was
just had-
wonderful. We attend- My family.
Did you
attended.
go?
Oh, great.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the space that they have. I mean, we used to use this room, and now we can't, and the artwork, and so having it at the rec center just makes more sense. So just another successful event. So family-friendly, free, so we're very, very happy to report on that. And then, of course, all of our Easter programs. I think every library did a program for Easter. We just celebrated Day of the Book, Day of the Child at East, our East Library. Unfortunately, it was last Saturday and it was raining. But then, of course, they had a Plan B, so they just moved everything inside.
Okay.
So that was a great celebration. So, and we've been, just doing a lot of great things, great partnership programs. So it's been an active spring, and then now we keep trucking along for summer reading. So we're happy to begin that.
And when does the summer reading program
The
kick off?
first week of June,
Okay, very good.
yes. So
All right.
it's our season.
Coachman Park grand opening.
I just want to touch upon this. It's going to be an 8-day celebration that's coordinated with, between the city and Ruth Eckerd Hall. I don't know if you've seen some of the press releases and whatnot. It's going to be a full 8 days of various types of programs. Ruth Eckerd is going to have some evening concerts. They're going to have some performances out on the green. So lots of celebrations, and I think and that'll begin June 23rd, and it will commence with our July 4th fireworks, which I'm told that's going to be one of the largest fireworks events ever and in the area. So let's hope for good weather.
Well, I'm sure it'll be warm at that point.
Always is.
Yeah,
So,
all right. Okay, 5.3, National Volunteer Week.
yeah, so that was in April, a week before National Library Week, and it was just an opportunity to, and we do this every year, to honor and appreciate our wonderful volunteers. We have about 40 system-wide. So we get them a little, a bag and a mug and whatnot. But I just wanted, to let you know we appreciate our volunteers. They love, giving back and helping us do the tasks that, we don't, our staff really doesn't have a lot of time to do. So we're always taking more volunteers. So if people want to apply to be a volunteer, they can go on our website, fill out the application, and we'll try to get them on board. So,
What's the minimum age?
we have teen volunteers.
Like how young teen?
That'd be 16 or up,
Just curious.
and then adult volunteers.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
And most of our teen volunteers also get college credits, like Bread Future program. So they volunteer to get those hours so they can get a reduction in tuition.
good. National Library Workers Week.
Yes, and that was during National Library Week, and again, we wanted to honor our wonderful staff that do great things. I get so many comment cards and emails and calls on how wonderful our staff is. So we took that day to celebrate them. We had some food and whatnot. So just to know that they are appreciated and by administration and our customers.
And certainly by the library board. We are very grateful for all the library staff members and the incredible work that they do all the time. Good.
Absolutely, thank you.
Now, National Library Week.
Yes, that's our national celebration of the importance of libraries. I don't know if you've been following the news and the papers, but libraries have been going through some
Oh, yeah.
challenges. With
This morning's
book
paper,
bans,
yes.
And so it's been quite a year and a half, 2 years. But we're grateful in Clearwater that we have such strong support from our city council and city management. So we did a city proclamation like we do every year. And then we had a wonderful presentation, and if you can go back and stream that meeting, I think it was on April 20th. So we have an early literacy program called 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. So children, if they read 1,000 books, we consider them a graduate. So we had 6 little graduates here, and we showcased them at the city council member, and they had their little caps on, and they were so proud. It was just so wonderful. And we still have more people in the program, more children in the program. They just haven't hit the 1,000 books yet. But
That's terrific.
yeah. And, the parents and grandparents showed up. We
Oh,
had a little
yes.
cake ceremony afterwards, and so it was nice. It was adorable.
That's how you create lifelong readers.
Absolutely.
Yes, very
I
good.
think I was talking to one of the children, and he said, "I'm not done reading yet, even though I read 1,000 books. I'm not finished. I'm going to keep on going." So it makes it fun for them.
Oh, wonderful.
So, yeah.
And other outreach events.
We are really focusing on getting out more with community events, partnering with other either departments or partners out in the community to really be where people are, to promote our services, and we bring out crafts and 3D printers and telescopes and whatnot. So we have really increased our outreach efforts, and it's so interesting because every time, I know when I go out and when the staff goes out, people say, "I had no idea the library offers this," so it's really a great marketing opportunity for us, and to let people know that this is what we offer. And then also we have the ability to sign people up for library cards at
Oh,
these
good.
events. So we bring out a laptop and they can get their cards right there. So it's been a really great marketing opportunity. And
Give us an
there's-
example of one of the outreach events that you've been doing.
Well, I know the CRA did a bunch of series of events downtown, so we had a table there. We partner with the schools and just various community events, Neighborhoods
Okay.
Day that the city hosted this year, which was very successful. So just any community event, our adult programming team and our youth services team says, "Hey, can we have a table?"
Okay.
And they're more than happy to accommodate, so.
Okay, because I know some of the neighborhoods are going to be having block parties and so forth, and that's the kind of thing where they could actually invite the library to have a table there.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good to know. Yes, Tim?
Ms. Obermeyer, the participation at the library dropped off during COVID, as it did everywhere. How many members does the library currently have? Do you know, ballpark?
We have about 80,000 cardholders,
Wow,
Okay, that is great to know.
active cardholders.
that's outstanding.
We have seen
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thanks. We have seen our door counts, our footfalls, decrease since COVID, but it's slowly coming back. So,
That's very high participation.
Yes,
Keep up the
I'm
good work.
delighted to hear that, because unfortunately, too often you hear the negative side of the library. Oh, it's just a place where the homeless go to hang out. And I'm going, have you been to our library lately? Because I know I have been amazed at the various programs available and the speakers and the arts projects and the exhibits, and that's one reason I really enjoy being a part of this, because people just don't know what they're missing. So everybody come on out to your library and ask what's happening.
yeah.
Read the boards that show this and this and that. Yeah.
That were just books, that, because that back in the day, but we have increased our programming efforts, both in-house and outreach. So yeah, we're really active, and so we just need to get the word out. But even still, people are still coming, regardless, but, and we're promoting a lot of digital resources.
Yes.
Where you don't have to be in the library to use the library, We have a lot of streaming services, online newspapers, New York Times, Washington Post,
As I've said, with people concerned about inflation and paying for streaming services and whatnot, it's like, do you have a library card? Are you going online? Are you finding out what things you can get streaming? Awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I've had several people comment, they didn't even know I was on the library board. It's not like I run around with a sign. But they have really great things to say about the whole tech center here, and the genealogy and just the way the whole thing works and how well that's staffed, and they really were amazed by that whole part of the library. So again, congratulations on that.
And we are offering elements of what we have in our Heritage Studio out into the branches. So if you want to, we bought like a fast photo scanner for our branches. So we have, it's not as robust as what we have here, but we are adding, 3D printers out into the branches. So people don't necessarily have to come downtown if they just want the simple stuff. So,
Very good. Well, again, keep up the good work. We are all so proud to be a part of the Clearwater Library system. Very good. And in fact, that leads us to another one of the very impressive kinds of opportunities offered, the citizenship classes at the East Community Library. Tell us about that.
we partner with LCUP, the Literacy Center of Pinellas, to offer citizenship classes. And so every week, they have a series and they practice, taking the test. And I'm so proud to report that we've had 4 graduates this past year and a half. And then just seeing them pass the test with their certificate, and then we get a cake and have a little celebration. They're just so proud. It's such a great program. So we look to, I think there's a few people already about to take the test, so we'll have
good.
even more graduates. So just the fact that they can come to the library and get these, get this service is just wonderful. And
Excellent.
yeah. But
Okay, the robotics team in competition.
yes, every year we just knock it out of the park. We sponsor a robotics team, and they practice year-round with designing their robots and whatnot, coding, and So we had a competition back in March, and we came in first and second place.
Wow.
Again this year.
Yay.
If you're ever on the second floor, we have a huge glass display case with all of our trophies. So our teams really just pretty much win every year. And, you know, staff work with the kids and the teams, and they really are dedicated and they work really hard. So I was so proud to hear that they won first.
And that certainly fits with the emphasis on all of STEM these days, because libraries are no longer just for the bookworms, the bookish types, but science and technology. It's all here and all being developed and created. That is amazing.
That is one of the focuses for the children and teens, is focusing on the STEM curriculum.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
So, and to help offset what the school, they're learning in school, so.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, do we have an update on the Library Foundation?
I do not. I know they haven't had a meeting since last time, so I don't have an update.
Okay. And the Friends of the Clearwater Library?
I don't have an update either. So, I know they were trying to figure out how to have a book sale.
Okay, that would
They
be
used to
helpful.
have their book sales here,
Oh,
but
yes.
again with our spaces.
Mhm.
But the book areas in our locations or branches have been doing really, really well. So, and you wouldn't believe how many people are donating their personal libraries to our libraries. People
I
are
would.
downsizing. So we have a lot of great material for low cost for sale.
Good, and that's something for people to remember, is that you can also spend money at your library, and it all goes to
All comes
support
back. It all-
our library system.
And one thing, I don't know if I'm out of order, but the one thing I forgot to put on the agenda is the exhibit that's going up. I know we reported last time, but Nikki Butcher was here in April to do a book signing. Her book is gorgeous. So we had a great turnout. She talked to everybody and told, her story behind her paintings. And so her exhibit just went down yesterday or the day before. Clyde Butcher's Cuba exhibit is going up on May 13th.
Okay,
It's a smaller exhibit, so it's just going to be out in this main area.
okay.
But in addition, they're adding a separate exhibit related to Cuba by various artists that will take up the Osceola Gallery
Oh, good.
and the Carnegie Gallery. So we'll actually have two new exhibits focusing on Cuba. So that's going to be exciting.
Good, okay, I'm glad to hear that another exhibit's coming up. It's so strange to walk in, it's
I
like,
know.
it's all gone.
Yeah, I think they're putting the window vinyls up
Yeah.
right now and
And the signs on
getting
the
ready
wall
up.
there, yeah.
Yes, very good.
Good.
Okay, under board members to be heard, I just wanted to mention two things. If you have not seen this article that was Sunday, March 26th in the Tampa Bay Times, it was really lovely. Local libraries are a treasure trove. And again, that idea of emphasizing how much libraries have to offer, including things like museum passes, passport services, tools, seeds, which we mentioned at our last meeting, 3D and tech printers, and all sorts of things that's exactly the kind of thing I want to see the public, like, oh, really? You can do that at a library? So that was great. And then on the other hand, my other concern, the idea of more parental controls coming. This one is about the Hillsborough County Libraries, but this is just in today's paper. I would encourage all of you to read it. I'm pleased to say that as far as I know, this hasn't been happening in the Pinellas County Libraries, but I'd say, Jennifer, please enlighten us if there have been any of the issues. I mean, we have some parents in Hillsborough even saying they won't let their children get library cards, and I just my head blew up, I think, but how are those issues, are there any of those issues here that we should be aware of? Okay. I know, sometimes I'm afraid to ask, and yet we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't ask, because obviously we are a public service provider, and even though I may not understand why people would put limits on their children's reading, I understand that's parental prerogative, so I just want to make sure that everyone knows that we are open, we have policies, and I think that we are steering the ship in the right course. So,
And this isn't just a local concern, this is a national concern.
Oh, yes.
Especially with school libraries, and now it's led into the public library world. So, yeah, it is a very big concern. So, and again, it really comes down to support of this board, our other stakeholders, foundation, friends, and our city council and city management, and we do have that support. So,
very good. Any other board members with issues they would like to raise at this point? Okay. Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Very good meeting. We certainly covered a lot of topics.